Hey guys, it's Shannon, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do the law of sines. So the first thing you have to look at is the formula, which is A over the sine of A is equal to B over the sine of B is equal to C over the sine of C. Where we get this from is a triangle, where each angle is a capital A, B, and C. And across from each angle is the respective lowercase letter of A, B, and C. So when you're given a problem to solve, you're typically given one angle and other thing, and it's a respective side, and then another side to help solve. So the first thing we have to look at is which we have. We have a capital B and a lowercase b. So when we plug into the formula, we also have a lowercase a. So when we plug into the formula, we have lowercase a, which is 4, over the sine of a, which we do not know yet, that's what we're solving for first, is equal to b, which is 31, over the sine of b, which we know is 137 degrees. So we can do the sine of 137 degrees. From there, to solve for it, we have to cross multiply the two fractions. So we get 31 sine of A is equal to 4 sine of 137 degrees. From there, now we have a simple formula, that's it, in which to solve for. So we want to get the sine of A by itself. So we have to divide this, both sides, by 31. And if you want to solve for A, all you have to do is go to your calculator and plug for the inverse of A. So you hit second sine, and then you plug in what you have over here. So go 1. So we have 4, the sine of 137 over 31, which will get us our angle A, which we will round up, which is 5.04, which we will round up to 5.05. But you're not done there, because you have to find another angle, and there's always 3 possibilities with these when you're doing the law of sines of what answers you can get. You can get 2 triangles, 1 triangle, or no triangles form at all. So the first thing we do is we'll write the 505 down in our little angle box. And then we'll go back up here and we'll add 137 plus 5.05 to get, let's see, $142.05. Now, all we have left after that is to solve for angle C. And when you're solving for one angle in a triangle, and you already have the other 2, all you have to do is subtract from 180. So now we have 180 minus 142.05, which gives us that angle of 37.95. So now we put that back down here too. and we have one full triangle. Now we have to test if we're able to get a second triangle. So what you have to do is you always have the first angle that you're given. That has to be in both triangles. Then you take the first number that you find, which we found, 5.05, and you subtract that from 180. Which is equal to 174.95. So, if we take this over here and we put it as our second angle in this triangle, we see that there's not a possibility for a second triangle due to the fact that when you add 137 plus 174.95, you equal more than 180 degrees. So you cannot have two triangles. So you have one triangle that exists. However, that's not always the case, as sometimes you have two triangles that exist. So we'll do the same thing with this question. However, you most likely don't know if we're going to end up with one or two so far. So we'll set it up the exact same, but this time the variable is different since we're using C and B. So we plug in the formula the same, since the formula is A over the sine of A is equal to B over the sine of B, which equals C over the sine of C. So all letters are interchangeable. So A can be equal to C, or A equals B, or B equals C. It does not matter. So in our other variable is B this time. So we'll set it up as 28 over the sine of B, which we don't know. That's what we're solving for first this time, is equal to 22 over the sine of C, which is 24 degrees. Then we just cross multiply it again. So we get 22 sine B is equal to 28 sine of 24 degrees, which you then want to get the sine of B by itself. So you divide 22 from both sides, and then you plug in the inverse of sine to get what B is equal to. So we'll plug that in real quick, and we find out that B is equal to 31.18 degrees. So we'll bring that down here and write it into our first triangle box. From there, we have to add the two angles together to find out the third angle. So we go 24 plus 31.18 equals, we'll go back here, 55.18. Now we subtract 180 and 55.18 to find out that angle C is 122.81, or it's 82 degrees. So we'll bring that back down here. So you get 122.82 degrees. Now that we have all of these, we take the second angle that we found, which is 31.18, and we subtract it from 180. So now we have 180 minus 31.18, which is equal to 148.82. And since this is less than 180, that means that we can put this in our second triangle. So we come over here, 148.82. Now the easiest part of this so far, now that we have that one triangle into the beginning of a second, is we add these two numbers together and subtract from 180 to find the value of our last triangle, which is 7.18. So this one works out that two triangles exist. And finally, the third case that we have would be if no triangle exists. So we have the variables of c and b again. So we're going to start out the formula of 16 over the sine of b, which we are looking for, which is equal to 11 over the sine of 77 degrees. So we go through the motions of cross multiplying to get 11 sine of b is equal to 16 sine of 77 degrees. And then we want to get sine of b by itself again. So we divide by 11 on both sides and plug this into the inverse on our calculator. So we come over here and we hit second sine and we plug in what we have, which is 16 sine of 77 over 11. Now when you click enter on it this time, you'll get an error. And that's because when you have a trig function, the value cannot be more than 1 when it is inside of the equation. So if we were to just plug in this part into the calculator, we would get which, since that's 1 point, when you plug that in, the sine of b would be equal to 1.417. The function does not exist because this is greater than 1. So b equals error. So this triangle of 77 degrees with the widths of 11 and 16 as the lengths between the angles is not able to exist. Therefore, 0 triangles exist. And that's the basics to understanding the laws of sine. Thanks for watching.